The headline that traveled furthest was about trades. 4 Los Angeles Angels players were dealt on August 3, 2026, while playing a round of golf at a course owned by their own captain. It was strange, memorable, and easy to share. What received far less attention was the course itself and the man who designed it. Tiger Woods spent 3 years working on that property through his design firm. TGR Design then missed the opening ceremony entirely because he was recovering overseas. He said nothing publicly for 4 months. When he finally did speak, on August 11, 2026, it came one day after a major business announcement from the company he runs with Rory McIlroy, and the timing was not accidental. To understand why that post mattered, you have to start with the round of golf. Mike Trout organized the outing in the spring. His team had a rare off day on the East Coast before a series against the Baltimore Orioles, and he wanted to bring his teammates to the private club he had spent years building near his hometown in southern New Jersey. What he did not account for when he picked the date was the baseball calendar. August 3rd, 2026 was the Major League Baseball trade deadline. The group landed in Baltimore the night before and boarded a bus for the 2-hour drive to Mike Trout's home. About a dozen players stayed there overnight. Coaches and staff members arrived on a separate bus the following morning. By the time everyone gathered near the first tee at Trout National, the reserve, the players had a general sense that something might happen that day. They did not expect what actually followed. Mike Trout, who was 35, later summarized the afternoon in a single line. It seemed like every 4 or 5 holes someone was getting the call. The first call came before anyone had even teed off. Reliever Brent Suter was standing on the practice putting grain when his phone rang. On the other end was Angels interim general manager John Mozeliak working alongside assistant general manager David Haynes, telling him he was headed to the Atlanta Braves. Brent Suter is 36 years old and an 11-year veteran of professional baseball. The Braves would be his 5th different team. Despite all of that movement, this was the first time in his career he had ever actually been traded. According to teammate Ryan Zeferjahn, Brent Suter had never expected it to happen, and his first reaction was not about the trade at all. His first question was, "Can I finish the round? Can I golf?" The answer was yes. John Mozeliak later recalled telling him that the Braves would be in touch, then ending the phone call with 3 words, "Hit 'em straight." Brent Suter described what happened next in simple terms. "I just instantly started hugging everybody," he said. He played the full round, spent a final few hours with his teammates, and then caught the last flight out of Philadelphia to Atlanta that night. Mike Trout remembered exactly where the group was standing when the news landed. Everyone was putting on a green, he said, and the whole group was gathered around the tee box. That first trade changed the mood of the entire day. Reliever Kirby Yates explained that once Brent Suter got his call, the players understood the pace was about to increase. They were right. Outfielder Joe Adell was next. He was on the 7th hole, a long par 4. When John Mozeliak and David Haynes informed him he was going to the Cleveland Guardians. Joe Adell was 27 and had spent his entire professional career inside the Angels organization after being selected 10th overall in the 2017 draft. He knew a trade was possible. He did not expect it to arrive in the middle of a fairway. "I was in shock," he said. He described hearing cheers and seeing hugs spreading across the golf course as players received their calls. By the time the group reached the 9th hole, he was handing out goodbyes. He was gone by the turn, and he chose to look at the positive side of the timing. "At least I got to play half the course, though," Joe Adell said. The third trade of the round belonged to Ryan Zeferjahn. He learned he had been dealt during a rain delay somewhere between the 12th and 13th holes. The 4th came after the golf had ended. Kirby Yates, a 12-year veteran, found out he was being sent to the Pittsburgh Pirates while sitting in a car heading back to Mike Trout's house. His reaction has become the defining quote of the entire episode. "None of us have ever seen that many guys get traded at once," he said, before adding that after each departure, the remaining players kept repeating the same question to one another. "All right, who's next?" There was a 5th Angels player traded that day, and his absence from the group is arguably the best detail in the whole story. Right-handed pitcher Joe Soriano, who is 27, does not play golf. He skipped the outing entirely and stayed behind at the team hotel in Baltimore. He was asleep when the phone woke him the next morning to inform him he was joining the Toronto Blue Jays. Meanwhile, the man responsible for all of it had no idea where his players were. John Mozeliak was occupied with trade negotiations and did not know that nearly half of his roster was on a golf course in New Jersey at the time. When he found out afterward, his response was a joke. "I'm bummed I wasn't invited." He added that he had been somewhat tied up that morning and that if a player is going to receive news like that, he might as well be having fun when it arrives. No team in the history of the sport has experienced a deadline day quite like it, and the setting deserves as much attention as the trades. The origin of Trout National goes back further than most people realize. Mike Trout came close to owning a golf property just before the pandemic began, but he and his wife Jessica stepped away from the deal and set the idea aside. A year or two later, he saw footage of someone attempting to build a couple of golf holes in Vineland, New Jersey, the town where he was born. That video led him to a meeting with developer John Ruga, and that meeting eventually became the project. When the time came to select a designer, the choice was straightforward. "My favorite golfer growing up obviously was Tiger," Mike Trout said. He explained that his group reached out, received an encouraging response, and brought the design team down to the site. Once they saw the land, they were interested. Back in 2023, when the partnership was first announced, Tiger Woods described the appeal of the property directly. "Mike and John found a site with a lot of character," he said, pointing to the sandy and diverse terrain that gave his team a wide range of design options. Mike Trout, for his part, said at the time that the project was more than he had ever thought possible. TGR Design began work in 2023 on land that had previously held a silica sand mine roughly 45 minutes south of Philadelphia. The site stretches across more than 280 acres and transitions from former quarry ground into farmland. The stated design philosophy was restraint. According to Tyler Trout, Mike Trout's brother and the project lead, the primary goal in the sandy areas was to move as little earth as possible in order to preserve the rugged natural character of the old quarry. The finished course plays to a par of 72 and can be stretched beyond 7,500 yards. The fairways are wide and offer multiple routes toward the greens, framed by sandy waste areas left over from the mining operation. Teeing areas are built in a ribbon style, which gives the club flexibility in how it sets up each hole. The greens use spectrum-creeping bent grass, and they are large, heavily contoured, and surrounded by short-cut grass that allows for a wide variety of short game recovery options. The entire layout was designed with match play in mind, asking players repeated risk and reward questions. Water comes into play on 6 holes. According to Tyler Trout, that water functions both as a visual contrast against the sandy landscape and as a genuine hazard that forces players to commit to a line. The clearest examples are the par 3 8th hole, which features an aggressive peninsula green, and the 18th, where water guards the final approach into a home hole that can be reached in 2 shots depending on line and execution. There is also a stretch of the course that the team considered essential. The loop running from holes 6 through 11 was built around errands, the club's main on-course comfort station. This stretch is the heartbeat of the course, Tyler Trout said. Errands includes wraparound terraces, fire pits, and an indoor-outdoor bar where members and guests can watch golf, eat lunch or dinner, and relax. The baseball theming runs throughout the property. The bullpen is a lit, reversible 6-hole short course built for night play and surrounded by cottages. Under the lights is a putting course measuring 24,000 square feet that can also be illuminated after dark. The dugout is a baseball-themed amenity station set into the ground behind the 14th and 16th tees, positioned so that members can watch tee shots from field level. The practice facilities include a short game area with 2 greens and 3 bunkers, allowing shots of up to 80 yards from varied lies. 5 cottages and 2 lodges provide overnight accommodation, and the grounds include a helipad. Course construction was carried out by LeBar Golf Renovations, and the entire project was overseen by Tyler Trout. The timeline slipped considerably. Initial estimates pointed toward an opening sometime in 2025. Preview play eventually began in October 2025, and the club officially opened on April 15, 2026. Tyler Trout summarized the intent plainly. saying the club stands in stark contrast to the traditional, storied clubs of the region, and that the goal was to create a private oasis that feels relaxed and modern while still delivering a championship-level test of golf. Tiger Woods, narrating a video posted on his own social media account, offered a shorter assessment: "This golf course is going to be quite challenging." On April 23, 2026, Mike Trout announced the opening publicly. "Having Trout National open is a true full-circle moment," he wrote, describing a hometown vision that had become reality alongside family, friends, and partners who believed in it from the start. The response was divided, and the reason was access. Mike Trout was born in Vineland and grew up in Millville, an area that is largely working class. The club he built there is private and invitation only. Membership is reported to be capped at 227 people, a figure chosen as a tribute to his jersey number 27. Reported initiation costs run somewhere between $300,000 and $500,000. The total project cost approached $100 million. In November 2025, Golf Digest described the club as a playground for the elite with a membership made up of athletes from every professional sports league, team owners, and tour players who would benefit from the practice facilities. Several members of the public pushed back hard on that combination of facts. One recurring theme was that Mike Trout had been viewed locally as a down-to-earth figure, and that excitement about the course faded once residents learned it was private and invitation only, which critics framed as forgetting his roots. Another person noted that the most exclusive and expensive course in the area had been built in a hometown that is low to middle income on average, arguing that local residents could work at the course but never play it. A third response was blunter. "What's the point of building a golf course that no one can play?" There was also a widely shared post on the golf community forum Reddit in which a user pointed out that the entire property appeared to be enclosed behind high perimeter walls. The counterargument exists as well. A project of this size brings construction and operational employment, adds to the local tax base, and draws visitors into the region. Highly private clubs are also the established norm across that part of the country, so Trout National is not an outlier in that respect. Whether the tax revenue, tourism, and employment offset the enormous maintenance costs is a financial question for Mike Trout, Tiger Woods, and their accountants. What the public reaction focused on was the optics. Tiger Woods was not present for any of it. He missed the opening of his own course because he was in Zurich, Switzerland, undergoing rehabilitation. On August 11, 2026, he finally addressed the project directly. From vision to reality, he wrote, describing the experience of working alongside Mike Trout, John Ruga, and the Trout National team, together with his own TGR design staff, to bring their shared vision for the place to life. He added that he was proud of what the teams had accomplished and excited for everyone who would get to experience it. The timing is the part worth noticing. Exactly one day earlier, on August 10, 2026, TM Inter Sports, the company Tiger Woods founded with Rory McIlroy, announced that Fenway Sports Group had acquired the fifth ownership group in WTGL, the new women's professional golf league created in partnership with the Ladies Professional Golf Association. The franchise will compete as Boston Common Golf, matching the name of the existing men's team in TGL that Rory McIlroy captains alongside Keegan Bradley, Adam Scott, and Hideki Matsuyama. The deal marks the first team ownership position in women's professional golf for Fenway Sports Group, a company that also owns the Boston Red Sox and Liverpool Football Club. Its relationship with the Ladies Professional Golf Association began in 2023. When Fenway Sports Management partnered with the tour to help grow its sponsorship and marketing business. Forbes values Fenway Sports Group at $14.19 billion, ranking it fourth among the most valuable sports companies in the world. Linda Henry, a partner at the company and chief executive of Boston Globe Media, said the organization has always believed in investing early in ideas with the potential to grow and evolve the sports landscape, adding that the league was a natural next step. Mike McCarley, founder and chief executive of TMS Nerdy W Sports, said that Boston Common Golf brings an established identity, a passionate fan base, and an ownership group with a record of growing major sports properties. The team joins 4 previously announced groups: Arthur Blank and AM Sports and Entertainment in Atlanta, Alexis Ohanian in Los Angeles, Steve Cohen and Cohen Private Ventures in New York, and the Hamp family behind the Detroit franchise. Every one of those groups also owns a men's team, giving the new league built-in overlap with the established one. The league debuts this fall at SoFi Center in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, using a team match play format. 14 players have been announced so far, including 6 of the top 13 in the world rankings, representing a combined 95 career tour victories. Charlie Hull, Lydia Ko, Jano Thidikul, Lexi Thompson, and Michelle Y. West are among them. There is one significant absence. Nelly Korda, currently ranked number 1 in the world and a 3-time major champion, is not slated to compete. She criticized the decision to create a separate indoor league for women rather than having them compete alongside the men, calling it a huge and unbelievable miss. As for Tiger Woods himself, his return to competitive golf has been delayed repeatedly. Following the rehabilitation work in Switzerland, the situation is described as pointing in a more positive direction, with a possible comeback in 2027. He is 15 times a major champion. What the past 5 months show is a shift in what Tiger Woods actually does. He is now a course designer and a league founder as much as a competitor, and Trout National is the clearest illustration of that. It is a course that almost nobody will ever be allowed to play, built on the site of an old sand mine, which generated more national headlines in one single afternoon than most public courses generate in a decade. Mike Trout, for the record, has been consistent about his own priorities. He has called baseball his number 1 priority and described golf as a great mental getaway from the game. His handicap sits around 7 or 8, and he has hit a hole-in-one. So here is the question worth arguing about in the comments. When an athlete returns to a working-class hometown and builds something that only 227 invited people can ever enter, does that count as giving back to the community? Or the opposite? Leave your answer below, because this one does not have a clean resolution.